Does the soul choose its parents and how? Not every soul. Most of us, when we die, we are like entering a time tunnel, a very dark tunnel, and based on our last impressions, during the last moments of our life, we are experiencing like a rewinding of a movie. To the old time movies, the old time tapes, the old time VHS. We are experiencing such rewinding of film. And it takes only a few minutes, sometimes just seconds, within 1 minute. At that time, clinically, we are pronounced dead already. Our brain is clinically dead. So physically speaking, we are already dead. But at that moment, the rewinding process is going on. And that rewinding process goes on because the machine is already still working. The machine is still working. There is still some breath, some energy left. It is just like this fan. If I switch this off, it will not be off immediately. There is still some electricity going on. And the blade of the fan will still move for some time before it comes to stop. So even though our brain is already not functioning, still there is some energy left. And using that energy, the mind, not the brain, the mind is rewinding the whole lifetime. All the major impressions. So it's not all impressions. The major impressions, the major memories are coming back. And based on that, before there is total darkness, based on that, the soul has a programming that now, for the next life, I am going to look for such and such parents. At that time, within 1 minute, at the most is 3 minutes, at the most. It's not that long normally. But you can feel it is very long. You can feel it is very long. You are reliving your whole life. But actually it is very, very short, very brief. And at the time, there is a conclusion. Okay, for next life, I am going to be born in such a such family. If the soul is still attached to the immediate family members, then it will come back to the immediate family members. But if the soul is attached to a different situation, a lot of Westerners who came to Bali in 1960s, 1970s, until 1970s, they fell in love with Bali. They fell in love with Bali. And the last thought that they had before their death, whether they were from Holland, they were from Germany, they were from United States, the last thought was Bali. And they were born in Bali. So a lot of people who are born after 1970s in Bali are actually Westerners. They were Westerners in their previous life. And now they are a bit confused because the Bali that they saw at that time was a totally different Bali. Now is a totally different Bali. And not only that, they saw the bright side of Bali and they fell in love with that bright side of Bali. And now when they are born as Balinese, they start seeing the whole picture. There are bright sides, there are dark sides, anywhere. If you are born in West, there are dark sides, there are bright sides. You are born in India, you are born in China, there are dark sides and there are bright sides. So now they start to realize that, gosh, this is not the kind of Bali that I was envisioning. And so they are a little bit confused. So there is a whole generation born between 1970s to 1990s, late 90s, who are actually Westerners, many of them. Many of them. And they are a little bit confused now. And this is creating a lot of confusion in the Balinese society. They have forgotten the values of the Balinese society. They don't know about such values, and they cannot let go of their Western values also. You have to be very, very careful. You have to be very careful. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what you are engaged in all your life, what you like in your life, when you are still living, those memories will come back at the moment of death. Now, when you like something, you have to be very careful why you like such a thing or why you dislike such a thing. That's why Krishna says, go beyond like and dislike. Then, if you are going beyond the like and dislike, and you are focused on your soul enhancement, the progress of the soul, and that's what meditation is all about. The progress of the soul. And the progress of the soul, we start with our motto, one earth, one sky, one humankind. Whether you are Westerner, you are Balinese, you are Indian, you are Chinese, you are European, it does not matter. The soul is not related to any particular geography. The soul wants to enrich itself. So don't have a desire to be born in such and such country. Have a desire for the enhancement of the soul. If you have a desire, I want to be born in Bali, it may not enhance your soul, and you may in fact suffer more. One lifetime can be wasted. And so go beyond like and dislike. Come to Bali and enjoy Bali. Go back to your country, enjoy your country. There are good things there, there are bad things. There are good things here, there are bad things. Every country is like that. There is no one country that is all good. There is no one country that is all bad. So just enjoy yourself, but do not be attached to one place. This is one of the basic teachings of yoga in Patanjali. He says, do not hold on something. Once you start holding on something, then you'll be disappointed. Do not hold on something. So most of the time, we do not exactly choose the parent, but we choose situations. We may also choose parent, but normally we are more choosing of a situation than exact parents, because one who is your father, perhaps he was your son in your last life. One who is your mother, perhaps your girlfriend last life. The roles can change. So it's not exactly parents, but situations, conditions that is being selected by the soul. But most of the time, after those 3 minutes, we are in total darkness. We don't remember anything. You come back to your memory when you are about 6 to 7 months old in your mother's tummy. Then you remember. And that is the time when actually the soul is entering the mother's womb totally and completely, adjusting itself. So a lot of time there are miscarriages during those time, between 1 to 7 months. A lot of miscarriages because the soul may not find it, okay, I'm not comfortable here. And it can still leave the body. It can still leave the womb. So basically speaking, from the yogic point of view, the soul is in the mother's womb totally and completely only after the 7th month. Only after the 7th month. And then it realizes and it wants to come out. So when the baby inside start to kick mother's tummy, actually it wants to come out. It's getting too much, 3 months in total darkness. And you're not eating anything except you're sucking your mother's blood. We are all Draculas. We are all vampires. When we are in the womb, we are drinking mother's milk, and then we are out of the womb, we are drinking mother's blood in the womb and mother's milk after the womb. So those 2-3 months are very crucial between 7th and 9th month. Between this 7th and 9th month, 2 months, the soul is again remembering everything. And at that time is deciding a future plan. Okay, I have done this in my last life. And now I want to make this kind of revisions. I want to make this kind of corrections, including if by mistake, not by mistake actually, but by little bit of wrong calculation, you are entering a different mother's womb, in a sense that you now realize that my last desires in my last life were not conducive. Those desires are not conducive to the growth of my soul. And I should have thought of something else. Then, during those 2 months, you are deciding again, okay, I have chosen a wrong family. I now realize that those desires were not good for me. But now, having chosen a wrong family, I will do this. So you are correcting your master plan. You are correcting your blueprint. Once you are born, you forget all those things again. Most of the time we forget. Most of the time we forget. We get so much entangled into the world, we forget all those things. And so when Buddha was born, this is a regular Indian tradition, that when a child is born, there is a horoscope drawn, and then you can find out some data there. So even when a Buddha is born, who has gone through so many lifetimes, there was a prediction that whether he become a very great king or he becomes an enlightened being, but he will leave his kingdom. There were 2 options, even for a Buddha. Can you see this? It's very risky. So if somebody is saying, wow, I was like this my last life, and I have to continue, blah, 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 blah. It's a wishful thinking. Because you can be at the 98th house in snake and ladder game, and at that point you get bitten by the snake, and you can come down to number 2. It's just like a game. So even a Buddha, when he's born, had he not decided to withdraw from the tangles, from the clutches of illusion, he would have continued as a king. So it's a game. It's totally a game. It's a game. So don't be too serious. Don't be too serious, because it is a game. You know? At the end of the day, there comes a time when all of us, whether you like it or not, we all get enlightened. So you can wait for that time. It may take 10,000, 15,000 years. But nothing, you won't remember it anyway. You won't remember it. How do you remember it now that what were you in your last life? How do you remember it? Yeah? Or you may remember, okay, if you lifetime, what does it matter? So, yes, you may postpone it for a certain time. There will be enlightenment. Everybody is going to get up. You are not going to be slumbering all the time. Most of us, we forget. There are people like Buddha who remember. And I think I did some calculation last time in one of my Indonesian books. There are about 20 people in one age. 20 people out of the whole world's population who become enlightened as Buddha. They are at the end of the life cycle at one age. So, well, you could be one of those 20, you know. So yes, most of the time we don't remember exactly, but we continue somehow, and it's rarely about 20 people every age they remember, like Buddha, and yet they may still suffer from some kind of amnesia. So it's a game. We have to be very careful.